Welcome to today's session on data structures and algorithm. Today we will deal with Java programs based on stack data structure. A quick recap to the previous classes. We saw what is algorithm, its characteristics, and the introduction to data structures, common data structures, and its type, array introduction, types of array, one-dimensional array and two-dimensional array, Java programs with algorithms. We saw simple Java programs like positive number or not using conditional statements, prime number or not using for loop statements, 1D array programs like creation, initializing, accessing, and printing elements of 1D arrays using for loop, and sum of elements in array using for loop, and array rotation. We saw 2D array programs like matrix addition, matrix multiplication. Linked list, we saw about first list, and list can be implemented in two ways. One is array and linked list. Array has some limitation which is overcome by linked list. Linked list definition, its representation, example, and its types have been seen clearly. And we saw about singly linked list definition, representation, and example, its operations and disadvantages, and doubly linked list, and the Java program, which is based on single linked list insertion at the beginning, and circular linked list, which is an extension to single and double. So there are two types in circular, like circular single linked list, circular double linked list. And then we saw its representation, example, and Java program, which is based on the single linked list insertion at the end of the list. It's a continuation to the previous session insertion, that is insertion at the beginning. And we saw about array versus linked list, Java program, insertion after the given node. So in Java program based on single linked list, we saw insertion at the beginning, insertion at the middle, insertion after the given node. And we saw a small definition about stack. In the previous class, we saw about stack definition and its real-time illustration with the box and the CD rack. And we saw about terminologies which is involved in stack data structure like push, pop, top. And then we saw representation using arrays and operation using arrays, and representation using linked list and operation using linked list. So stack can be implemented using two data structures. One is array, another one is linked list. We saw the concept in the previous session. Today's session we'll see how to implement stack basic operations like push and pop using arrays and using linked list. And finally, we saw the application of stack, that is infix to postfix and prefix, and about prefix to postfix. So we saw about the arithmetic conversion, which is the one of the main application of stack. So operations in stack. So we know that stack is a linear data structure which follows a particular order in which the operations are performed. As we saw in the previous session, it is like a box. So whatever you insert first will be the last one to come out. So either it is first in and last out, or whatever you insert last will come out first. Last in, first out. So LIFO or FILO. Mainly, the following three basic operations are performed in the stack. So it is push, pop, and if you want, we can return the top element of the stack. So it's empty. So push, it adds an item in the stack. You're pushing some element inside the stack, like how you keep books inside the bag. You're pushing some element inside the stack. And what you have to check, whether the stack is full or not. Overflow condition has to be checked before you perform the push operation. Then it is, if the stack is full, then it is said to be an overflow condition. So that has to be checked. Pop. Pop means you're removing some item from the stack. It is no more inside the stack. So the items are popped in the reverse order in which they are pushed. For example, the first one which you push will come at the last only. So if the stack is empty, then it is set to the underflow condition. So if the stack is empty, we don't have anything to remove from the stack. So for push, you have to check the overflow condition. For pop, you have to check the underflow condition. Okay. Next, peak or top. Peak or top, it returns the top element of stack. There is no insertion or deletion. It just returns whatever is there inside the stack, just displays. It does not do any insertion or deletion. Is empty, it checks whether the stack is empty. It will return true if the stack is empty, else it is false. So we will see the Java program implementation of stack or basic operations using arrays. So again, I'll revise on this. Push means insertion of element in the stack. You have to check for overflow condition. Pop, you remove an item from the stack, you have to check for underflow condition. Peak or top, it returns the top element of stack. There is no insertion or deletion. Is empty, it just checks the condition if the stack is empty and returns true or false. It will return true if the stack is empty, else it is false. Push, overflow condition. Pop, underflow condition. Peak or top, returns top element. Is empty, returns true if stack is empty. Just keep this in mind and we will see the Java program. So the Java program is first one, using array, we are going to implement the stack basic operation. So the step one is you have to declare class which is named stack. And then you have to declare the variables like max, the maximum size of the array. And you have to initialize the top variable, declare the top variable and array variable. So this is a declaration. So maximum is static because it is throughout the same program, it's going to be same. So static final int max. When you give static final, it is like robust and rigid, that the maximum value is 1000. Apart from 1000 elements, you can't insert anything inside the array. So it is fixed, hardly fixed. Okay. And int top variable you have to declare, since this is a stack program. Now we have to come to array declaration. Now we are going to implement stack operations, push and pop, using the array. So you should declare the array. You know the syntax, like data type, primitive data type integer, followed by the array name A, then the square brackets is equal to new, then you're giving the primitive data type, and you're giving, either you can give directly number here or you can give the max, because we have declared max before. So maximum size of stack. So here max means 1000. Okay. Next. So next is you check for stack is empty or not, and you return true if it is empty. So here the output is either true or false. Since the output is either true or false, the primitive data type is Boolean. Boolean data type always returns either 0 or 1. It's like either true or false. It does not return any value. Since this function is returning only it is true or false, we declare the data type of this function as Boolean. Now, if Boolean is empty, you have to return the top less than 0. Whatever value less than 0, you have to return. Some value you will get, like -1 or something. I mean less than 0. Top will be less than 0. And stack is, or else it will return top is equal to -1. So it will return true. So return top less than 0. If this is true, it will return as true, or else it will return as false. Okay. Next, you are going to insert an element. Insertion also does not return you any value. So since it does not return you any value, you can it is like Boolean operation. If it is successfully inserted, it is 1. If it is not successfully inserted, it is 0. So false and true. So you are giving as Boolean. So if top is greater than or equal to the max minus 1, for example, it has reached the 1000. We have declared max as 1000, and you're inserting a new element inside the stack after 999 elements. When you insert the 1000th element, after that, if you're inserting 1001 element and the top is greater than or it's equal to the 1000th element, you have to return the stack is overflow, and you have to return it is false, meaning the insertion has not occurred. Else, you have some space in that memory. It's only 999th element means insertion. Then it's okay. You have to just do a plus plus of top. Now top will be pointing to 998. So in case the top is pointing to 998th memory, and you're going to insert 999th element, now the top has to go to 999th. So you have to do some increment operation, and that increment operation is plus plus top is equal to x. X is the element which you're going to insert. So in the array A, the index top, so instead of I, you're using here top because it's a stack. You have to plus plus top. In that position, you have to insert x. Then system.print.l, whatever you have inserted x, just display the message pushed into the stack, and you have to return true. Okay, so this is push operation. Push is also a type of Boolean operation where you don't remove an element or you don't display some elements. It's just pushing into the stack. So it's like true or false. If it is insertion is successful, it is true. If insertion is not successful, it is false. So based on that, you have to write the program. You have to check for overflow condition. Overflow condition means the memory has gone beyond the size which has been given. In that case, you cannot insert new elements. So you have to check for overflow condition, and you have to if that overflow condition is true, you have to return false because the insertion is not successful. Or else you have memory which is less than the maximum size declared, then you can push these elements inside the stack and return true, indicating that the insertion is successful. Now you have to pop elements from the stack. When you pop elements from the stack, you get some value. So that value is I have declared as integer. You get some value back. It's not like Boolean operation which you do in push, where you just push an element. Here you delete an element and it's returned, right? So it is some value you're getting back. So in order to display that, you have to use integer for the pop method, and you have to check for the condition if top is less than 0. Suppose if the top is less than 0 in pointing to some -1, then it is like stack underflow condition. There is no element inside the stack. If there is no element inside the stack, there is no point of doing pop operation. So beforehand, you have to check for underflow condition, and you have to return 0, indicating it is false and there won't be any pop operation occurring. Else you have to go for int x is equal to a top minus minus. That is you're doing a decrement. For example, I am now top is pointing to 999th element. I'm going to remove that. Now the top has to point out to 998th element, and so a of top minus minus will go to x, and you have to return the x. So when you do a push operation, it is plus plus. In the plus plus position, you are placing the element. When you do pop operation, it is minus minus. So this is post decrement and this is pre-increment. Pre-increment, you do an increment and place an element. Here you take the element out from the top, which is pointing out, and then you do a decrement, making the top pointing to 998th element. Here, if I want to remove 999th element, for example, if I want to remove fifth element, there are only 5 elements in an array. I want to remove the fifth element. What will happen? The top will be actually pointing to the fifth element. Now, since it is a post decrement, first it will return you whatever is there in the top variable, that is in the fifth position. If there is a value called 10, it will return you 10, and a post decrement occurs to the top variable. The top variable will decrement to the fourth position. That is called post decrement. You have to note this, it's very important. Here it is pre-increment in case of push. You increment and insert in that position. Here you take the value outside and then decrement from that position. Here you increment the position and insert the element. Here you take the element out and then decrement the position. There is a difference here. Pre-increment and post decrement. That's the difference. Push is about pre-increment and it's about overflow condition. Pop is about post decrement and it is about underflow condition. Now you just want the top element. You don't want about insertion or deletion to occur inside the stack. Then you have to check for the underflow condition if there is any element to return. And then if there is no element to return, it will return as 0, that is false, there is no element to return. And if it is there, it will just give the top variable. So a of top is equal to x and it will return you x. You just want the top variable, that's it. So this is a main function. Now my class name is stack. So I've created stack object yes, new stack constructor. And with the object, I'm using the push operation alone, 10, 20, 30. And you can pop one element popped from stack. Okay. So first you run this and see. So the implementation of stack operation using array, there is some advantages also and disadvantage. If you see the advantage, it is easy to implement and memory is saved as pointers are not involved. But disadvantage is that it is not dynamic, because as you see here, we have declared max is equal to 1000. It's not dynamic here. It's very static because we are using array. So it does not grow or shrink depending on needs at the runtime. It is like compile time program because we have used arrays. So this is the advantage and the disadvantage of implementing stack operations using arrays. Now we will go to linked list. So you know about linked list. We have learned that linked list has a node. Inside the node, you have the data and the next field. Now we are going to implement stack data structure using the basic data structure linked list. So what you should have a class name. So I have a class name called stack as linked list. Now for the linked list, always you should have some head node, or you can call start node, or you can name it as root node. So some node is there which is indicating the starting of the linked list. So stack node root. Now you have to create a class which is used to create the nodes like with the data and the next field. Since this is a repetitive process, it's better to have a class which is like a template to create the data with the next field. So you have static class name and the class name is stack node. So here you have int data, stack node next field, and then you have the you're calling the stack node constructor, and you're giving the parameter int data. Inside that you have like this pointer. This pointer means it points to the current data. So this dot data is equal to data. So always this data will point to the current position where the pointer is. Now, as you have seen an array, the first thing is you have to check whether it is empty or not. If it is empty, it will return true or it will return false. So how do you know a linked list is empty or not? We have to know it by the head node. So the head node is equal to null means obviously the linked list is empty. So if root is equal to null, we have to return true. Else you have to return false. Next, you should push the elements in the stack using linked list. So for pushing the elements in the stack, you should call the class name, that is, first you have to declare the push method. So public void push int data, and then you have to create object for the class which you have created. The class which you have created is stack node. Using that only you can create a node inside the linked list. This is like a template. I've told you already. So for that you have to create an object, new node, and using new operator, you're calling the constructor and passing the parameter data. Now you have to check if root is equal to null. Because it is a push, you have to check first here in linked list, you have to check whether first the root is null. If it is null, there is a thing that you have to make the new node as a root. That's why we are checking here whether root is equal to null. Because it's a linked list, we should have a head node, and the head node should be made if it is a new node, and new node is the first node in the linked list, that has to be made as a root node. For that we are checking this condition. But in array we don't have that issue. But in linked list you should have that track of that first root node, because that's a key to all other nodes. But in array it's like based on the index it gets stored. So this condition will not be checked there. There we just check the overflow condition. But here we have to check first whether the linked list is empty. And then if it is empty, if this node is the new node, is the first element, then you have to make that as a root. Else we can make the root in the temporary variable, and we have to make new node to the root, and new node next will be temp, right? So it's like root, already there is an element called one inside the linked list. Now you have to insert a new element called 2. So what you have to do, since it is a stack, it is like insertion at the before of the node, right? So before 1 you have to insert. So if you have to insert before the root node, first you have to make root node into some temporary variable, or else when you remove the connection, it will be lost. So first you have to store that root node 1 in a temporary variable, and then make the new node. New node next field should be pointing to the root node, which is already there inside the linked list, that is 1. So new node is 5. 5 next field should be pointing to 1, which is already there in the linked list before. As so this is a line. So root, first you have to store it in temporary variable so that root node is not lost. And then you have to make the new node inside the root first, because you have to make the new node as the top node, right? Now you have to make new node next is equal to temp. If you make it as temp, it is actually pointing to the previous root node, right? That's what. So I will explain you with the diagram in the next session. If you want more clarity, then we can go with higher grade programs in the next session. I will explain with the diagram also if you don't have clarity now. As of now, you understand like root is stored in a temporary variable, and that root pointer has to point to the new node, because it should be the top node. and no root new node next will be pointing to the temp, which is actually the previous root node, right? So new node has to be root node always in the stack operation, because the top is always seen and the top is the first always. That's why this step has come. New node is equal to root. Always in stack operation, whatever element you're inserting recently, that will be the root node. And then you can print the element. For pop also, you have to check if root is equal to null, and if it is null, it is stack is empty. And then you have to root dot data will be popped out, and root dot next will be the root, right? Yes. So root, whatever is there in the root value, that is root dot data will be popped out, and whatever is in the next field of the root, that is only the current root now after the popping operation. So if the next field is pointing to the address 20, and the 20 is the next element, that is 5. So after popping, it will point to the 20 address, which is having the data 5, and that will be the top node now. That top node is called root node. So if you want the peak node, just call the root dot data. So instead of using top, I have used root. That's the difference. And you have to make an object for stack as linked list class, that is a main class. And then you have to call all the functions, and using the object created for the class, main class. And then you have to call the parameters, and you have to pop the elements. So the advantage of the linked list implementation is it can grow and shrink according to the needs at the runtime. And the disadvantage is that since there is involvement of pointers like next field, it requires extra memory for that storage. So this is about stack operation using linked list. So you can go through this book if you want, and I will share you this program also, and then you can try it.